Hi, I'm Transapient, and a new Godzilla movie comes out in less than a week. That's right, Godzilla Monster Planet, the first in a new Godzilla anime trilogy, will be released on Netflix this January 17th, 2017. 2018. Sorry, I'm still getting used to referring to it as current year and stuff. Speaking of, I decided I wanted to do something kind of special for my first videos of the new year. This is going to be a 3-part little series featuring Transapient's Top 30 Godzilla Movies. Part 1, which is 30 through 21. There's no way I'm going to be able to fit all of them in, so I decided to make it a 3-part thing, which hopefully I'll be able to release over these next few nights, over this weekend. And I thought this would be a cool way of also kind of, hyping myself up for the new anime movie, the 17th. But also, because I guess since I'm gonna be doing if I'm gonna be doing some Godzilla YouTube stuff, might as well throw this out there, And also because I guess since I'm a quasi-ish perfectionist, I wanted to get this out while there's a still nice even number to go on. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first of all, honorable mention, Godzilla 1998, aka Zilla. Yes, for me, it would be an honorable mention. Now, not in regards to Godzilla itself, cause or to Zilla, cause I know they totally screwed up with representing Godzilla in this movie, and in fact, with Toho kind of renaming it Zilla and all, I mean it's kind of not even really an official Godzilla anymore, I think, which is why I don't say there isn't 31 Godzilla movies. There's still just 30 now or stuff, But taken on that note, watching it as Zilla's own movie, I think it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's just a fun, decent monster movie. I actually like the French guy, the character. I can't remember his name. Like Clouseau or something. Yeah, well, that and it got a cool Led Zeppelin cover by Puff Daddy. I don't care what anyone else. I actually like that song. So, anyway, moving on to the official list. Number 30 is Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. This one is, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put into words, but this one is certainly not high for me because it's very poorly executed, I guess would be a good way to put it, because, I mean, Space Godzilla of all things, I mean, convoluted backstory aside, as well as, I guess, I'm not really a fan of the finished design itself, but this was a really cool idea. They could have really done something that was interesting, because I like the idea of a space version of Godzilla, but nothing really meshes or works out in an interesting or cool way, like the whole him kidnapping little Godzilla. He doesn't do anything more or it doesn't factor in as big as part of the story as you think it would. He just encapsulates him, but that's kind of it. He doesn't take him hostage or try to turn him into another Space Godzilla by infecting him with the crystals or something like that. I know, and Mickey, the one who the girl who has a psychic connection to Godzilla. There's some bad guys who capture her stuff. I don't know. There's nothing really pans out very well in this movie. So I can't really say it's the most excitable one to watch for me, which kind of goes hand in hand with number 29. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This one and Space Godzilla are kind of interchangeable for bottom two. These are the ones I'm I'm most hesitant about rewatching again, because there's nothing that really it does do. There are a few parts that are like a few hokey parts that are kind of funny or unintentionally funny and stuff, and there are some good action sequences in both of them too. Like Mecha King Ghidorah is pretty nice, but but other than that, plot wise, it's extraordinarily weak, especially with the whole time travel thing with this one. But also the origins for Ghidorah and Godzilla in this one, we're never really a fan of them. Speaking of with that whole time travel Godzilla thing, that it has this Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This one has a really odd kind of neo-imperialist vibe to it, or whatever. Which, if you want to know more about that, there's this guy OmniViewer who's also on YouTube. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out, because he's done this 3-part review of the movie where he goes super in depth to it. It's really cool, so check that out. But other than that, yeah, this one and Space Godzilla have always been kind of bottom of the barrel for me. Which, let's see, number 28, we have Godzilla's Revenge, aka All Monsters Attack. Yeah, this one is probably, of course, the one that's at the very bottom for most Godzilla fans. And objectively, it is certainly among the worst, and certainly among the laziest, too, because, of course, almost all of Godzilla's screen time is all stock footage and stuff. But my camera my phone's doing this weird thing where it's only focusing on, it's doing that little face focusing on his face. That's weird. It's not doing it to any of the others. It only, I wonder if, so I guess it recognizes only a human face. Well, that's interesting. Or at least in this shot it is. Anyway. But actually, I after recently rewatching it again, it actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I mean, after I hadn't watched it in a while, and after having it hyped up as it was so horrible and stuff, I watched it and my brain didn't melt out through my eye sockets or anything, so I guess that counts for something. Also, whereas the last one, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, had this weird imperialist-ish message to it, this one's message is about a boy who learns to stand up for himself against the bullies. Now, albeit it's not very well executed, but you can't really call it a negative message, so yeah, interesting. Oh, I like the opening theme is pretty funky too. I like that. And that's weird. Anyway, number 27, we have Godzilla vs. Biollante. Now, Biollante is awesome. She is one of the most conceptually interesting, unique, creative kaiju that Godzilla's ever gone up against. And all the themes, with the whole the power of genetics and her being related to Godzilla and stuff, all those themes work really good in regards to the monsters. But I don't know. There's, as with a bundle of grapes, there are bound to be some sour ones in there, and yeah, the fights themselves isn't really all that well executed. I know that it must have been very hard to move an animatronic of that size and stuff. They couldn't exactly fight in a traditional sense, and I guess arguably maybe it could be argued Biollante didn't want to fight. I mean, maybe being technically brother and sister-ish in a way, and with the whole she has a human conscience and stuff supposedly. But I don't know, the rest of the movie's plot in regards to the humans and stuff is, I don't know, the way it's kind of like an espionage-ish kind of thing. I don't know, it never really clicked with me. So I gotta kind of, leave it hanging there. Anyway, number 26, Godzilla and Mothra, the battle for Earth. Are you noticing a trend here? Yeah, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the Heisei Godzilla movies. Because I get that they were trying to be darker and more serious and stuff, but I don't know. For me, it didn't really. They weren't very effective at coming off that way. It's like if mostly it's like if the Showa era had all, or Showa movie had all the excitement and fun-ish kind of stuff siphoned out of it and stuff. But even though there are parts where the action is indeed very, very cool and stuff, given the improved effects. This one does have some funny stuff to go along with the action. I know that whole thing where, like, the beginning, one of the characters is supposed to be like, I don't know, a cheesy Indiana Jones ripoff or something, but I found myself amused. And Batra is, I thought was a really awesome, cool thing to definitely highlight for me. But I don't know, they also do, there's this really, cheesy environmentalist kind of message to the movie, too. And it can get really cringy at times. And I'm usually good at tuning that kind of stuff out when I need to. But they do, it's kind of heavy-handed at times. So, yeah, that's why it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Speaking of mixed bags, number 25, Godzilla 1984, aka The Return of Godzilla. Now, when I say a mixed bag, it's very mixed for me, because the stuff that this movie does good for me, it does spectacularly. Like, I love the build-up. I love some of the initial scenes where the beginning where the guy finds, like, the derelict boat and, like, all the guys are dead inside. Like, I remember having this actually as a kid, and I never got to see all of it because I stopped watching after that because it terrified me. So really cool and effective opening scene, very effective ending scene. Him being lured and falling into the volcano and stuff. But and a good action stuff too. But I don't know. There's the whole thing with the flying computer mouse, the Super X. I don't know. I never really got that whole thing. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, the thing with that lots of people say, kind of in regards to Shin Godzilla, about it being boring and stuff through the human parts. I actually kind of feel that way about this movie, because I get how it's supposed to be set in the Cold War, and I get how that could have been really effective, and I could recognize that it's probably objectively good, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel that way for me. And since this is a personal list, well, that's why I can do whatever I want. So for me, it's I don't know. I haven't really seen this one in a while though, so I don't know. Maybe another viewing sometime soon could maybe give me a different perspective or something like that. But for now, it's again very, very mixed feelings on it. Susceptible to change though. Number 24, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, aka Godzilla vs. the Spog Monster. Now, you gotta be in a very specific kind of mindset to watch this movie, man. But because it's really weirdly awesome. Emphasis on the weird part. Ugh. I have 3 fingers. Anyway, but when you do, it can be pretty awesome, man. Cause the Smogster, my buddy Hedorah, my home dog, I like him. He's a cool kaiju, man. Like, the way he goes through his stages, like, he's a little demon tadpole. Then he's like this flying manta ray flapjack thing. and now he's this big soggy mass of moldy lasagna with the veg eyes, and he's pretty cool. And then my man, he comes to harsh everything up, but my man Godzilla comes and he brings the funk. It's trippier than cheese and crackers, man. It's awesome. So yeah, again, you gotta kind of know how to watch this movie, man. Gotta get the atmosphere right, if you know what I'm saying. But with that being done, it can be a pretty cool watch. Give it a trip, man. Anyway, moving on. Number 23 is Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Now, this is the sequel to, or not a sequel really, because the Millennium series wasn't really connected all that much, but this is the movie after Godzilla 2000. And as much as that movie might have been rushed into production, you know, after Zilla, this is actually the one that feels rushed to me. Even though it has like some cooler ideas, but Megaguirus herself, I don't know. I've never really been like never really thought all that much of her. I heard once that, or like one of the initial ideas is to like do a remake of Kamacuras and have her be the main bad guy, which I probably would have liked it more that way. I like Kamacuras, but there are some really cool parts to it, like that whole, you know, them shooting a black hole at Godzilla of all things. I mean, it must have really been desperate to come up with that, you know. And there's this one part where one of the characters actually is riding on Godzilla as he's swimming, which is really cool. I mean, kinda weird how out of all these movies there hasn't been more stuff kind of like with that, you know? And maybe people having some kind of like swing kind of thing, like mountain climbing up his spikes or something like that. But yeah, that's cool. So it does do a lot of cool things, even though for the most part it otherwise is kind of a more on the bland side too. Anyway, number 22 is Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, aka Hedorah, Horror of the Deep. The horror probably being what King Kong felt when they wanted him for this movie, but Godzilla was feeling generous and decided to take this hit for him. So yeah, in case you didn't know, King Kong was originally gonna be in this movie, but they decided to switch him out with Godzilla. And I don't know, even though it can get pretty kind of campy and cheesy in parts. For all it's worth, the plot with the you know, it's like this group of guys going after to try to find one of their brothers that got lost, and then the ship they stow away on happens to have a criminal on it, and then you know they get to the island with the terrorist group that's enslaved the natives and stuff. But I know, again, kind of a cheesy premise and stuff, but I don't know, there's something about kind of ordinary people getting swept up in this extraordinary event with Godzilla and monsters and stuff, you know, that I find kind of charming and stuff. It makes for really, like, cool, like, you know, self-contained, lighthearted stories. So, you know, interesting stuff there. Anyway, for 21... Godzilla versus Megalon. We got old Jet Jaguar holding up the title there for us. But yeah, this one and the previous Godzilla vs. Sea Monster were both I think I was initially introduced to via Mystery Science Theater. I'm a big fan of that show too, and they've really given me an appreciation for the art of the riff. And that is very easy to do with this one, because this is one of those so bad it becomes funny movies, you know? Like, of course, I don't even have to go into detail about Godzilla's, gravity-defying finishing move against Megalon, which is a really cool monster, by the way. And even though it's obvious that they were working with a very low budget and stuff, they do it with, there's just so much, goofiness going on that you can't help but just think it's fun. It's just a fun movie, so that's why for me this is number 1 on 21. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Megalon, punch, punch, punch. And that concludes part 1 of Transapient's top 30 Godzilla movies. So, as mentioned before, I'm going to try to get the other 3 uploaded, or the other 2 uploaded over this weekend. And let me know what you guys think. What are your favorite Godzilla movies? Or I guess in this case, which ones are, I guess, in the bottom 10 and stuff, Like, for me, I mean, I guess I wouldn't really, I can't, even though I still find stuff to like about kind of all of them, I can't really bring myself to really hate any of them. Or how about you guys? Do you hate any Godzilla movies? But other guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and have a nice day.